All right, it's 6 o'clock, so we would like to call to order the meeting of the Johnson County Council. This is March the 11th, 2024. Amy, can we have a roll call, please?
Pam Burton,
Present?
Ron Deere,
Present.
John Myers,
Here.
Jonathan Myers,
Here.
John Dittmers,
Here.
John Fowlers, and Melinda Reesler absent.
Melinda is ill and John is running late, so he may appear at another time. If you'll bow your heads for me, please, we will pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we're here today to ask your guidance and wisdom as we engage in council responsibilities. We ask that you give us discernment, compassion, and a spirit of unity, so our decisions reflect your justice and love. In your holy name we pray. Amen. Amen. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order of business will be the approval of tonight's agenda. And we need to make note that the minutes from last month will be tabled. Also, there is a revision of number 6 under the consent agenda. And those numbers have been revised, and you have a copy in front of you. And also, item E2 on the agenda has been requested to be moved to the front of the agenda for time-saving purposes. It's approval of a resolution. So unless anyone else has any other questions or requests, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion made by JT and seconded by, take your pick, John Dittmers. And all in favor?
Aye.
Passes. Okay, item E2 is where we will start. Would you state your
comment first?
Oh, I'm sorry. Public comments. If there's anyone online or in the audience that has public comments, please move to the podium. Could you state your name?
Sure will. Major Andy Fisher. I'm representing the sheriff. Sorry that I'm a little had a cold since Wednesday. Real briefly, he just wanted me to make you guys aware that last Friday, Jim Ingmark and Shannon Chambers from our crisis intervention team were honored at the NAMI conference, which is the National Alliance of Mental Health. And Shannon received the CIT Coordinator of the Year, and Jimmy received the CIT First Responder of the Year. So he wanted me to come tell you guys this, and we're proud of him. We appreciate everything that you all have done for us, getting this off the ground with the commissioners and everybody else in the county. So just want to make you guys aware of that.
Thank you very much. We also are very, very proud of them.
Ditto back at him.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're ready to move forward with item E2. If you'll come to the podium and state your name, please. Oh, I'm sorry. John Mallers has now joined the meeting with us. Welcome.
Thank you.
A couple of changes on the agenda, but
Okay.
it's no big deal. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Jacob Bowman, Williams, Barrett, and Wilkowski. I'm here actually on behalf of the Johnson County Recycling District presenting the resolution that you have in front of you today. A little bit of background on this. The Recycling District is enabled under the Solid Waste Management District statutes of the Indiana Code. It encompasses every single unit of Johnson County, including towns, including the city, including the county itself. The recycling district is going through a bonding process. They're issuing bonds for the benefit of building of facilities, new facilities to be housed locally here in Franklin. Part of the bond issuance and bond resolution, or bond procedures rather, is to have a resolution of the county council sort of approving the Johnson County Recycling District's issuance of the bonds. Why that is required, I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you, although you all have the same taxing members or payers, I suppose. So it's one of the requirements that we have to go through these steps. It's a pretty simple resolution in front of you. I would call it almost a consent resolution. So your blessings rather to give to the district in order to go ahead and move forward and issue bonds. So I'll be happy to take any questions to the extent you have any.
Did you want to speak?
No.
Any questions? Okay. Adam, this requires a vote, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if there's no questions or no further discussion, I'm prepared to take a motion for item E2 on the resolution 2024-01.
I move to approve Resolution 2024-01 as presented.
Second.
A motion by John Myers, second by Ron Deere. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion for resolution 2024-01 passes.
Thank you for your time, and I appreciate you moving me up the agenda.
You're welcome. Next item on the agenda is appointments for the Johnson County Library Board. I will say that, I don't know, I've been looking at these different appointments throughout the county for years, and I don't know that I have seen as many qualified applicants for a position. So before we get into this, I think I speak for everybody up here to say, thank you for your interest. It was wonderful. So we want to open the floor at this time for anyone that has applied that would like to speak either in person or online. So I'm just going to go down the line here on the names, and if you're here and would like to speak, let me know. First of all, I have Timothy Edsel. Welcome.
Good evening.
Yeah, go ahead and state your name and your address, please.
Tim Etzel, 182 East, 300 South, here in Franklin. Thank you for your time and your consideration, your leadership. I'm very interested in serving on the board for the library. I'm a supporter of our library system professionally. For the past 10 years as superintendent of Indian Creek and Clark Pleasant, we've had a great partnership with the library system. We've done fundraisers with them. We're doing one right now with the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. We have worked with them through the pandemic. They've been very helpful during that phase with the digital books that we're able to provide our students and even our employees. So very grateful to them, want to give back and serve in this capacity. Personally, lived here for 10 years in this county. 2 of my 3 daughters have worked and have had great experiences in their summer times working for the county. So love to read, love to be in the library myself, checking out the books and even doing it online. They have a great system. They have good, solid leadership. Would love to be part of it. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Brenda Drake.
Yes, hello.
Hi, welcome.
Wait a second. Oh, there I am now. Hi, my name is Brenda Drake, and I live at 5234 Potomac Lane in Greenwood. And I live in the White River Township, the unincorporated township, and the Center Grove School District. And I've lived in my current address for 24 years and have used the library throughout that time. And what got me interested in applying is that last May, there was a Shape the Future of the Library they were holding 2 different seminars or meetings for the public. And I was able to go to the one at White River, and it sounded very exciting about the renovations that want to be made to the Franklin branch and also the White River branch. And I've been active with the library, participating in their activities. I have 2 grown children, and they went through all the library programs for the youth. And I still do a lot with the library programs that are going on now. And so I just wanted to be involved with the future. And I read the mission statement of the library and also the strategic plan. And I think the library has a lot to offer. It's always offered myself and my family a lot. And I just wanted to be involved with it more.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, Next on board is Angela Eck.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Angela Eck. I live at 415 Pleasant Drive in New Whiteland. And I have a long history with the Johnson County Public Library. I actually started out my career as a librarian just out of library school. I have a master's in library and information science. And so I started out working there as a children's librarian clear back in 2008. So since then, I have worked at different jobs in public libraries, not only the Johnson County Public Library, but also Allen County Public Library up in Fort Wayne and Bartholomew County Public Library down in Columbus. Currently, I have made a career move and I am working as an outreach, admissions, and career transition services specialist down at Atterbury Job Corps Center. But I wanted to really stay involved in libraries. My two children really love going to the Clark Pleasant Branch Library to attend programs there and just browse around for books. And in addition to that, my son has had his last 2 birthday parties there. So big library supporters, and I would love to stay involved with the library and just helping in any way I can. So thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you so much. Okay, next up we have Ann Reinhardt. No, Ann Reinhardt. Okay. Jacqueline Marie Witham, or Jalen Witham. Okay. And Stacy, oh, that's a hard one. Wasper? Okay. I tried it. Yeah, you may want to speak your name clearly.
Stacy Quaysbarth, and I'm at 758 Harvest Meadow Way in New Whiteland. I was a marketing manager for several years before staying home and then homeschooling my kiddos. So I have 3 homeschooled children in the area, 12, 10, and 5. And we're very much involved with the library, and we love what it has to offer and would love to be a part of decision-making and input in the future.
Thank you very much, Stacy. And we also received an applicant by the name of Jeffrey Simpson that was not qualified. He did not live in the library district. Okay, I've gotten myself lost here.
That's all I see.
Okay, if I have missed someone, please stand and come to the podium. I think I've called on everybody. So does any other, I know I've read all the applications and several of us has discussed the fact how qualified everybody is. So does anyone have any further discussion or questions or?
If there are none, I'd like to make a nomination.
Go ahead.
I'd like to nominate Angela Eck, in reading over, all of the information with her experiences in the library. As everybody is qualified, but they did request that to be a Whiteland or White River Township resident, and she is that, so I nominate her.
Who requested it be Whiteland or?
The director of the library requested that it wasn't mandatory, but requested someone from that area because there was no representatives on the board that actually lived in that area.
Okay, so she was looking for a geographic
Right.
balance.
Correct,
Yeah,
a
that was-
geographic balance, correct. Do we have a second?
Can I make a nomination too?
I'm not sure how we handle that. Would you
Yeah,
both nominate?
so I think the proper way to do it would be you can ask for nominations for however many. I think it doesn't need to be a second for Ms. Ack, but then you could ask for any additional nominations. And then what you'll do is if there is a second one, it sounds like there will be, you would then just do a roll call vote. You just go down the list. So Councilman Deere, who do you vote for? You say who you vote for and just go down the list.
Uh-huh.
There is six of the, wait, is there six?
Uh-huh.
Yes. So there's a tie, and we just keep voting until it's no longer tied.
Okay, so we have a nomination on the floor for Ms. Eck. So I will need a second. So we have a second by Mr. Deere.
I'm the
and-
first.
I'm sorry, first by Mr. Deere, second by JT, or Ms. Eck. Now I open the floor for any other nominations.
I'm going to nominate Dr. Edsel.
Okay,
With everything he's done, what I've seen at Indian Creek and the stuff he did with the park and what he's done with the library, with the schools and everything, I think he's a great fit. So I'm nominating Dr. Edsel.
okay, we have a nomination on the floor for Dr. Etzel for the library board. Is there a second?
Second.
And we have a second, a first by John Eddy, and a second by John Mallers. It's hard for me to keep my Johns straight. Okay, so now we're gonna have a roll call vote, and from what I understand, I call your name, and then you say who you are going to vote for. So, Mr. Deere, we will start with you. Or do you call the name?
I think probably have Amy call it.
Amy, you call the name.
Brian Deere,
I for Eck, and it's because she's within the area.
John Myers,
Dr. Edsel.
Jonathan Myers,
Eck.
Amy Lambert,
Eck.
John Mallers,
Dr. Edsel.
John Edwards,
Dr. Edsel. Jump ball. Dr. Edsel.
So now we're tied, so you guys can discuss amongst yourselves.
Can we just have them both?
That'd be
Oh,
nice,
have
right?
them both. Yeah. Either one of these people are more than qualified.
Correct.
And my only deciding factor was that the director of the library did ask that geographically someone from the area that Ms. Eck represents. So that was the only deciding factor for me. So I don't know if anyone else has any
Let's
input.
say Dr. Edsel also represents that, being the superintendent.
Correct.
of-
Correct, but he does, but he
Schools.
lives in Franklin, yes.
Right.
Correct.
I think he has a more, I mean,
Correct. I agree with you completely.
the school district that size.
Yeah, I agree with you completely.
And that's a preference, not a requirement as far as the board mix.
As far as I know, it's a preference, correct?
Yeah, they all live within the district of the Johnson County
Right.
Libraries. That's all the requirement is. But she's saying the makeup of the board at this time does not really include anybody that lives in that area. So in order to accurately represent the county as a whole, it would be preferable to have someone within Whiteland area.
Okay.
Yeah,
And is it appropriate to ask if anyone up here has any questions of the two candidates? Does there anyone have any questions or anything they'd like to ask the two candidates before we have a roll call again? Roll call vote?
I do. I'd like to ask Angela Eck. You've taken a new position with down south. And so are you being challenged in that new position? Is it going to affect your ability to serve on the board?
No, it will not affect my ability to serve on the board whatsoever. I informed my director there ahead of time at the Job Corps Center that I was planning on applying for the library board and made sure I had her blessing and that there wouldn't be any conflict of interest. And she confirmed with, higher ups that there would be no issue.
Thank you.
You two are making this very hard.
I'd also like to ask Dr. Edsel the same question. You have a challenging position.
So it's definitely a challenging position, but it's one that I can serve in this capacity because it doesn't conflict with any other meetings or events. I did it for at least 9 years with the park board at Indian Creek. I've gotten very acclimated at Clark Pleasant, and so I know our meetings do not conflict. So to be able to serve in this capacity with the meetings and any other special meetings, I can definitely make sure I do. I love the challenge, love being busy. Definitely not bored, so good question.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
And Pam, if I may, just to reiterate a little bit about John Eddy said, to me, if you go to work in that community each and every day, then you're a big part of that community, and that's what she's after, is that involvement there.
Correct.
So, to my way of thinking, living there is one thing, working there kind of offsets that.
Correct.
That's where I was kind of coming from on that, respecting what she wants to do.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, Amy, I think we're ready for another roll call vote. Could you start at the opposite as what you did before, please?
Thank you.
Dr. Edsel.
Dr. Edsel?
Dr. Edsel.
Dr. Edsel.
Dr. Edsel.
It's hard.
Eck. But no disrespect to Dr.
No disrespect to anyone. Thank you all. You are very qualified. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your coming, and good luck. So do I need to make a statement for the record? It passes that it's Dr. Edsel. Correct.
I think you just need to announce that Dr. Edsel.
Okay, so Dr. Edsel will represent the Johnson County Public Library Board.
Congratulations.
Yes.
And so you know, we've had that happen before, a number of people. Never have we had that kind of conversation
Never.
about it.
Yeah.
So that speaks well for you.
And never have I seen as many qualified applicants, so.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item C is the consent agenda. This is routine matters, and by a single motion, the board approves items which may include salary ordinances, amendments, additional appropriations, reductions, and transfers. Any items listed on the consent agenda may be removed by a council member and moved to the regular agenda for discussion. So prior to this meeting, each of us have scrutinized these items and asked any questions necessary. Now, there was a change on there for number 6, and you have a copy of that in front of you. It was the numbers have been revised, but nothing that should make a difference on the consent agenda. So if anyone has anything they would like discussed or removed, we can do that at this time.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
A motion has been made to approve the consent agenda by Ron Deere, a second by John Eddy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Consent agenda passes. Item D, salary ordinances, amendments, additional appropriations, reductions, and transfers. And the first item up is for the local health maintenance.
Hi, Pam. It's Betsy.
Hi,
I'm on
Betsy.
Zoom. I'm just here to ask for an additional appropriation for a part-time salary for peer recovery coaches at $25 an hour. We hope to put peer recovery coaches on a type of, we already currently use them, but we're looking to add more effective use of our paramedicine program and add a paramedic with them to respond to overdoses and to hopefully be able to give the peer support that those people need when they're going through their experience.
Betsy, could you state your full name and position?
Sure. My name is Betsy Swearingen. I'm the director of the Johnson County Health Department.
Thank you. And this is not new money, correct? This is coming out of your
This
health?
is not, no, this is not new money. This is local health maintenance money. And we normally have a part-time line item out of there, but we didn't have this actual salary or hourly amount in there.
Thank you.
Betsy, are these new people coming on, or is it a reassignment of who you already have on staff?
Well, as much as I would love to continue using the recovery coach we're using right now, he is maxed out. And so we are looking to bring new peers on board.
So they're new positions, correct?
Yes.
And you're paying for it from existing dollars. And so if you could back up to the budgeting process, back when something has materially changed that has created this need at this point that wasn't foreseen when we went through the process in the fall. Is that correct?
That is correct. We weren't anticipating, if everything works out the way that we want to, that we're hoping for, we didn't know that we would have a full-time paramedic for a peer to tag along with. So things have changed in just the past few weeks on that.
And Betsy, this is JT. You mentioned an uptick in cases. Are you seeing that?
I don't know if there is an uptick per se, but I do know we are going to be looking at a different reporting platform that will give us a much better shot at getting a hold of all of the people of the overdoses. Sometimes they're listed as cardiac arrest, but then can be switched. And this new process that we're looking at will give us a better idea of exactly what the situation is when the paramedics are responding.
Thank you.
This is John Mallers. I just got a question. I know you mentioned this is paid for with rollover funds. Is this something that could have been paid from that statewide grant that we didn't take last year?
Absolutely.
It is?
Absolutely, it is.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Any further questions? Open for a motion?
I move to accept.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Mallers for local health maintenance, 1168, a second by this John, JT. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Local health maintenance, 1168 passes. Thank you, Betsy.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Drug-free community, item number 2. Yes, if you would like to, and give us a little explanation, you can bring the
Bring it
beautiful
out.
Bambino.
You put her up here.
John Dittmers will hold her way.
I'd be happy to.
Hi, I'm Tammy Hickman, Director of CASA, but also the Secretary Treasurer of Drug Free Johnson County. And this is Vivian.
Yeah.
Welcome both.
Can you explain a little bit about the request?
So Drug Free Johnson County receives funds, they're statutorily required, and those, they receive funds, there's the 4 different categories that are listed. They receive funds from the drug cases that are filed with the courts, and then we're required to break those down equally between the 4 different categories. And then every year we have a grant process, and we just completed the grant approvals to use those funds in those different categories. A lot of times they pay for things like some of the undercover detectives, some of the items that they use in their undercover work, cameras and microphones, things like that. They've paid for breathalyzers in the past. They also pay for drug screens and education and treatment. And then we have the admin also. So we have a coordinator who unfortunately isn't able to be here tonight. She's taking care of her grandfather in his last few days. He's in hospice care, so that's why I'm attending tonight.
Thank you, Tammy. Does anybody have any questions? If not, we'll open the floor for a motion.
I move to approve as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by John Eddy, a second by Mr. Dittmers. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Item number 2, drug-free community passes.
Thank you very much.
That's a fantastic sales approach, too.
Yeah.
You did a good job.
American Rescue Plan. It looks like we have Commissioner Walls coming to the podium.
Should have brought a baby.
Yeah.
I need to kiss that baby. I need to kiss that baby. That is a relative of mine too. Kevin Walls, Johnson County Commissioner, asking for, I will throw myself on the sword on this one. On the health and corner building, we did not calculate, we missed it, the reimbursables for the architect, which are permits, and we had them pay for it, and now we're going to pay them, and we have no more money left in that line item. So I would like to ask your permission to transfer $37,000 out of the American Rescue Plan into that fund.
Real quick, on that note as well, when this came before the council, either last year or 2 years ago, the council appropriated additional money to cover the reimbursables, but then it didn't get encumbered, so it reverted back. So strictly speaking, council's considered this once before, but we're just coming back again because it's reverted back.
So it's a reapproval, then, is that
Right.
a good way to look
Kevin
at it?
didn't spend it somewhere else?
It's still there, itching to be spent.
I was in Vegas 2 weeks ago.
It's not on pickleball courts or anything? Okay.
No, that
So
was.
this is coming out of
I'm so sorry, what?
This is coming out of ARPA funds?
Yes.
Yes. Adam, thank you for that explanation. That's helpful.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve item 3 from the American Rescue Plan from JT and a second by John Eddy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item 3 passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item number 4, cumulative bridge. And that's probably Luke, my favorite highwayman.
Good evening, Luke Maston, Highway Supervisor. Yes, there were 3 items that we were requesting additional appropriations on this evening. The first is for the Bridge 605, the construction phase of that project. It is technically in the general fund, but it is funding that was moved over from the cumulative bridge fund when that fund was dissolved. So it is savings that we had built up, in particular for this project, among others.
So are you gonna do 4, 5, and 6 or 2 and 3?
I can, happy to.
I have a question.
Sure.
If it's here, I don't see it. Where is Bridge 605?
Bridge 605 is on Fry Road, just west of State Road 135. Yeah, it's right there at the intersection.
Thanks.
You want to go ahead with item number 5 and 6, Luke, while we're here, and we'll take them as
Sure.
one motion.
So item number 5 is an additional appropriation in our local road and street fund. That is for the county's portion of an interlocal agreement with the city of Franklin and the town of Whiteland for improvements at the Graham Road and Paul Hand Road intersection. The item number 6 in the planning and zoning impact fee, that is an additional appropriation for right-of-way acquisition for the intersection improvement at County Road 144 and Morgantown Road.
I had a question, I guess not sort of related on right-of-way acquisition. Has any of that started on Smith Valley at all?
We are still in design. When we reach a certain point in design where we're confident that the lines aren't going to move, then we set those right-of-way lines and determine what those needs are, and then we'll move forward with appraisals in that right-of-way process. That will happen this year.
Okay, thank you.
Luke, is the project at Graham and Paul Hand Road, is that prorated a third each way?
The county's commitment in the interlocal was that $675,000 number.
Out of how much?
It is, I believe it's less than a third, or just less than a quarter, somewhere around there.
So it's close to.
Yeah, and then the city of Franklin's managing that, since the bulk of that is in their jurisdiction, and it also includes the Graham Road improvement project as well. So there is a potential, depending on what the final costs come out, that the city could request additional funding. But for now, that dollar amount, that 675 is what the county has committed to providing.
So this is not a not to exceed number. It could exceed this depending. Is that what I just heard?
It is currently a not to exceed number.
Okay.
But we did let the city know that we would consider if there were valid reasons for additional funding need, that we would discuss it. If that happens, that will be an additional appropriation that comes before the board.
Yeah, it's kind of a neat deal seeing that kind of collaborative effort between the three municipalities in the county, yeah.
Yes.
Any additional questions for Luke on items 4, 5, and 6? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve as presented, 4, 5, and 6.
Second.
John Eddy made a motion to approve items 4, 5, and 6. Mr. Dittmers, second. And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 4, 5, and 6 passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Luke. The next item on the agenda is from our coroner, and everyone got a copy, or got an email, and Mike Pruitt, who's our coroner, basically says that he had asked for the creation of an overtime account for the new full-time administrative deputy coroner. This was an oversight when he created the position. There is no request for additional funds, as we will transfer $1,000 from the unused administrative duty coroner account, since we did not begin using the account until February, leaving January budgeted money unused. We expect very little overtime for this position. So I told Mike that I would present that for him, and each of you have a copy of that email. So
Do we know the salary he's starting this person out at?
I believe the paper advertised 39,000.
48.
Was it 48?
Started at the max.
Correct.
And is that hourly or is that salary? Is that position a salaried position or is that an hourly position?
It's hourly, it's not exempt.
So it's not exempt, so I've got overtime. So why would there be overtime was my question. I would have asked Mike if he were here, but he's not.
Right.
I don't understand why there'd be overtime on that and why you're anticipating that. Just do it the next day would be how I would manage that, but that's just me. You see what I'm asking?
Well, they can flex it within the same pay week, but if they don't do that, then it goes to overtime in the pay period.
Just leave earlier.
We've been discussing,
with
we've been discussing the situation where starting a new employee out at the maximum, that definitely is an issue at budget time.
Right.
But unfortunately, right now, that we're at the mercy of the directors and the people hiring their employees.
I questioned that when he wanted this position.
Yeah.
There was a range, and I
Yeah.
said, why not set it what it's
Right.
gonna be?
Right, and unfortunately, that's the way most of them are presented, that we will do it this way, but then when the time comes, it's usually because they're bachelored or they're licensed or they're something. So we really don't have any control over micromanaging what he starts that position out as. Hopefully in the future, there will be some control, but that's the only insight I have.
To that point, I'm not gonna argue over $1,000 for overtime. I
Yeah.
don't get it, but I think the bigger picture is, it tells me we're on the right path as far as what our game plan is on validating job descriptions, validating salary ranges, and just basically confirming that what's being done is what needs to be done, rather than kind of, and I'm not taking anything away from Mike. I'm not challenging his need for
Exactly.
this at all. All I'm saying is there needs to be a procedure that's followed, which I think will be helpful to everybody, and that's what we're on track to make
Right.
happen.
And this is, in my opinion, is the perfect prime example
Absolutely.
of why that needs to be done.
Yep.
So, absolutely.
In my discussion with Mike, and this is something that I want to lobby for, because I think it needs to be up to the director, the elected officials, on these types of situations. If they were pigeonholed into a job description for this position, he wouldn't be able to use them how he wanted to use them, because I believe this person could also cross-train and be utilized in other areas, like going out into the field to do something. And so that was my discussion with Mike, and I thought that was relevant.
And that's normally what, that line of discussion is normally what follows when they start them out with the maximum. It's because of their ability to perform other duties. So I don't think, I'm not arguing that, but what Mr. Dittmer said, it points down the road in a manner we're trying to go, so. Anyway, if there's no further discussion, I'll open the floor for nomination or an approval.
Nomination?
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody want to nominate Mike?
Motion to approve.
Motion, that's a good word.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. JT, and we have a second by Mr. Mallers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Where do you show up next? I think I lost a page. Are we ready for E? E1, thank you. Johnson County Public Library update. I understand we have a young lady here with us this evening that was kind of thrown into this position.
So go easy on
Yeah.
a couple of handouts for you guys just to kind of.
Thank you.
Lisa had a family emergency and could not attend, and Sarah graciously volunteered to be here. So, yeah, we want to go easy on the questions, but Lisa has
That's right.
assured us she will be back at another time to give yet another presentation, so.
Who runs the? You run out of the only dog.
All right, while he gets that keyed up. My name is Sarah Taylor. I am the Assistant Director for the Johnson County Public Library. And first of all, I just want to thank you all for the appointment of Dr. Edsel to our board. We're very excited to have him join us. We think he'll bring a wonderful perspective to our leadership. So thank you very much. It was a tough decision. I appreciate that. I wanted to just kind of share some updates about the Johnson County Public Library. Included in your handouts that I just passed out to you are our latest quarterly guide, as well as our 2023 year in review. And I just wanted to kind of share, we had a really wonderful year in 2023, a great year of learning experiences for our residents and learning opportunities for our staff. So this past year, we have many things to be proud of. JCPL continues to check out more than 1.2 million items each year. We had more than 330 visitors to our locations. All over Johnson County, JCPL staff made a difference in connecting residents with resources and learning opportunities. On the screen right there, you can see that's JCPL on wheels. We hit the road this year, launched our bookmobile service to bring library resources all across Johnson County. That little friend right there is a Bargersville resident, and he's come to story time at the community center. So we're happy to see new friends joining us with JCPL on Wheels. You can go on to the next slide. Our branches provided more than 3,200 programs to the public last year, with nearly 74,000 people attending. Our community also read more than 3 million minutes together as part of our 2023 Explore Summer program. You can go to the next slide. Maybe? Imagine pictures of tornado damage, because that's what's on the screen right now. We recovered quickly from the tornado damage last year with nearly $500,000 in damages to our new Clark Pleasant branch. We were able to reopen the library in just a week, but the repairs were not completed until December of 2023. We also suffered a fire line break at our White River branch at the end of 2022 when we had that really cold snap around Christmas. We completed the repairs there at the beginning of last year. On to the next slide. At our Clark Pleasant branch, we opened a STEAM exploration walk with funding from the Rotary Clubs of Johnson County and a public art sculpture, thanks to many donors in our community and the Community Foundation. We held another Merry Prairie Holiday Lighting Festival at our Trafalgar branch. We added a gorgeous mural on an outbuilding at our Franklin branch, once again, thanks to JCCF. And we had many residents attend a visioning session for future improvements at our White River location. We're off to a great start for 2024 as well. Some updates from this year. We have completed a feasibility study for needed improvements and enhancements to the White River and Franklin branches. Over the course of this year, we're going to be putting together a plan for improvements at the White River location specifically, which is approaching its 40th anniversary. Our director, Lisa, will be back here in just a couple months to kind of share some information about that study with you all as well. You can go on to the next slide. Thank you. JCPL also has a new 5-year strategic plan that kind of concentrates on 3 pillars of action. The first one is to welcome library users with access to resources and great customer experiences. The second one is to create connection by engaging with our community and reaching out to our residents. And the third one is to inspire excitement with our programs, experiences, and innovations. You can go on to the next slide. So speaking of inspiring excitement, on Saturday, March 2nd, we held Space Day at the Johnson County Armory. We had nearly 1,600 residents in attendance. It was an incredible day of learning all about our universe and getting people excited for the upcoming eclipse. You can go on to the next slide. We have several more space-related programs planned over the next few weeks, providing an opportunity to learn the science behind this once-in-a-lifetime event. And we'll have free eclipse viewing glasses available for the people in attendance. You can go on to the next slide. That's all that I have for you today. Does anybody have any questions or comments about JCPL?
How many employees do you have?
We have about 85 employees. A mixture of full-time and part-time, but in total.
I noticed in the paper, there's a recent article about what the plans were for the library, I think. And
Yeah.
of course, the White River is going to be renovated. I think you just mentioned that.
Yes.
And there was a term, I tried to look for it just now and I couldn't find it. There was something about a transition at Franklin. It wasn't renovation, there was another term used. And I can't think of it to tell you. I thought that might ring a bell. Is that a renovation as well?
Yes, right. So both of our White River branch and our Franklin branch are about 40 years old now.
Right.
We are thinking about kind of focusing on our White River branch first because it's kind of the largest area of population for us in the county, but also because I think in order to do the Franklin branch, we need to move some of our services out of the Franklin branch and into the White River location so that we have a little bit more room to expand. So it might have been related to that.
Yeah, I almost want to say it was being repurposed, but.
Yeah, we're gonna have to repurpose some of that space that we're moving out of Franklin
Okay.
because we don't have a lot of room for expansion on the current site at the Franklin branch.
It's landlocked, isn't it?
Yeah, a little
Okay.
bit, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir.
So I really like the collaborative efforts that have happened in Johnson County in the past, and our good doctor down at Indian Creek. It sure is a good opportunity when school corporations can collaborate with a local library and perhaps come up with some type of collaborative effort. And I'd sure like to see that happen in this regard.
We
Going forward.
agree. I don't want to speak for Dr. Edsel, but Clark Pleasant School Corporation has been one of our pioneers of what we call our smart accounts, which are digital accounts for our students so that they don't have to spend quite as much of their budget with digital resources, ebooks for their kids because we provide a lot of them through the public library. So we're looking for more opportunities to kind of partner on things like that so that we're not paying twice for something when we could kind of be working together for that.
I'd like to make a comment about your items borrowed. It's amazing to me. There are those individuals who might suggest that with the digital age, that, libraries don't have the function that they once did. But
Yes, sir.
I visit the Greenwood Library and there are, always a number of people using all the facilities, but 67% is books and magazines and other, which is a shocking, well, not shocking to me, but I mean, it's a realization that even in the digital world, people still want to have that item to hold in their hands.
Very much so. You know, we've heard over the past 10 years that we'll get to the point where, you know, physical materials will become obsolete because everyone will have a device, but we still see that the majority of our residents really want the physical material. So 67% of our circulation comes from the items that are actually on our shelves in the branch.
So are you offering any AI?
We're still figuring that out a little bit. Yeah, I feel like we're all still kind of learning some of that together. I think it would be a nice idea for some training opportunities for our public because it is, I think, going to revolutionize how we do a lot of different things. We're not using it for a staffing purpose or anything related to that, but I do think there's a lot that we can learn about that.
Yeah, and be taught.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I feel like it changes all the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Thank you very much. I really
Thank you
appreciate
for
that.
coming,
Lisa's
Sarah.
contact information is there, so if anything else comes up, she's happy to talk. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Next up on the agenda is old and new business. We have one item under there, and it's budget discussion. And I think we pretty much have it ironed out as how we want to move forward. There is one thing that, let me get my note up here. After talking with a couple of the council people today, I understand that for continuity purposes, that we need to appoint a couple of representatives as a point of contact with our WIS consultants, and that contract was signed by our commissioners this morning. So I would like to appoint Councilman Dittmer and Councilman Deere as our points of contacts with WIS. I believe their experience and their knowledge will contribute positively to the management of this contract. And of course, we will still collaborate and work together as a board, but moving forward, this gentleman will accept the positions. We'll make that appointment.
Sure.
Thank you. Yep.
Anybody have anything else they'd like to discuss? In the words of Brian Baird, are all hearts free and clear?
I accepted already. Oh, can we tell them no? Okay.
If there's nothing further, I will accept a motion for adjournment. Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Look at how they're scared right now. They don't know what, so.
Go on.
State your name, please.
Kevin Walls, Johnson County Commissioner. We're gonna look at something, like I said, this probably isn't the best place to discuss this, but I'm going to anyway. With solid waste, with the resolution on the bond you just looked at, we have had an architect working on this for quite some time. And there are bills coming due. We won't have the bond money till a certain time. So you might see me back asking, we'll have a bond resolution authorization letter with us saying that we will receive the bond funds, and we might come in and ask the council to do an appropriation to pay the architect so he can continue to complete the project.
And you will leave us a blank check, correct?
On return, no, it'll be less than 1%. But, I mean, John, you can weigh in here. You heard everything today.
I was just going to ask you to give a thumbnail sketch of the status of that project.
We are, I would say we're in about 95 percentile. We're waiting on some estimates back from our civil engineer because that lot that we do have is contoured. So we have some dirt work that I'm afraid to take a stab at. So they're working on that, bringing that number up to date. And we've got a pretty good idea, but I would say the project is 95% complete design. And we're just waiting on the civil to come back.
And location?
It is going to be just north of our animal shelter. There is under one Wolf. I don't know if you know where that building is, but we're the lot directly north of that. So just letting you know that might be a possibility, so there's no surprises.
Do you know Do you know what the revenue stream is going to be coming from for that bond payment?
Solid waste.
We, as taxpayer,
Property taxes.
They have their, yeah.
They have their own.
we have our own,
Rate.
we're a separate entity. Own taxing entity, so.
Where is the front money gonna, where are you gonna want that from? The money that we're gonna pay until the bond proceeds come in?
Yeah, probably the general fund.
Just from the commissioner's budget?
I'm just
or-
asking, I'm just putting it on your, we might not need it, but
Okay.
we're looking, I'm just putting it on your radar screen.
That's fine, I was just kind of wondering.
They don't have that in,
I don't think they've gone that far, have they?
Okay.
they don't have that on hand.
They probably do, but it'll probably tighten them up pretty hard, so.
Yeah.
And we might be able to do it on hand. I'm just letting you know, I mean, the architect bill is, I know we've got, I don't know exactly what, but we just received one. I haven't reviewed it yet, so we'll see what that comes up. But I know we'll have another one due in April, and I know our bond isn't gonna be out till a little bit later, so, and I won't get into that. I could, but I'm not going to. Is that wise?
I would probably, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Probably not get into it.
yeah. I'd like to, but I won't.
Any
That
further
was just a
questions?
heads up. Any other questions? I mean, and hopefully I don't have to come back and we work it out, but I just wanted to put it on your radar screen.
Thank you,
Okay?
Mr. Walls.
All right, thank you.
Prepared to, motion to adjourn?
So moved.